Hey guys, how are we? Well, just thought I would shoot a bit of a quick video for you. Finding your little niche in life and building upon the success of previous seasons. So rather than chopping and changing as you go along in life and not having any continuity from one season to the next, that can really cripple you and tax you in the long run. And as I said to him, life is similar to a tree. At the bottom of the tree is the trunk. The trunk is quite wide, and that represents the opportunities and the possible directions that you can go in as a young person. As you get older, you'll find that you'll branch off into different directions. And as you go along, those branches get thinner and thinner and thinner. And it means that the opportunities that are afforded to you as you get older in life are far less. So it means, like, for someone like me, like my wife has always said to me, "Oh, you'd be a fantastic surgeon. Oh, you are so clever at, you should be a plastic surgeon." And I just sit there and go, I would have loved to have been a plastic surgeon. But the likelihood of me being a plastic surgeon and going and studying and doing 10 years of study through medical work and then surgery and goodness knows what else, at my age are almost nil. I did hear of one guy who went from being a paramedic and he went on and studied medicine and became a general practitioner at age 60. So there are people who do that sort of thing, but just take note of that. He's gone from being a paramedic to another area of medicine. So he's built upon a previous foundation that he has already laid in life, and that is such an important lesson. In life, you're going to have some things that are really successful for you, some things that are going to work out for you, and you're just naturally gifted in that area. There's other areas or other times in life where you're going to be like a fish out of water. You're going to sit there and go, I don't fit in with this at all. Sitting there doing data entry and thinking, oh, how long do I have to put up with this? And looking at the clock continually, hoping that lunchtime or knockoff time sort of comes along sooner rather than later. That's a good indicator that you are in the wrong area. Just to give you another insight, okay, so when you're around 7 to 11 or maybe 12 years old, what you'll find is often there are certain activities that are going to keep you absolutely amused for hours on end, activities where time will just seem to disappear. They're the sort of things that you really want to focus on. And I'm not talking about video games, because I've had these discussions with John. Video game playing is not a profession. So, but it could be music. For my brother Jay, it was basically dinosaurs and plants. For my brother Pete, it was fishing and, really interesting stuff like that. To give you a bit of a fast forward, my brother Pete is a semi-professional fly fisherman, partially sponsored or sponsored with some products, and very, very good at what he does with fly fishing. I remember being in our apartment on the Gold Coast a couple of years back and sitting in a spa and just relaxing after my swim, and some guy jumped in with a fishing t-shirt on, and I said, "Oh, you're into fishing, are you?" And he goes, "Yes, I am. I've just come from a competition." And anyway, I said, "Oh, my brother does that. He does some fishing." He goes, "Oh, what's his name?" So I told him his name, and this guy goes, "He's your brother?" And so, I mean, he catches some amazing fish, and but he gets to do that as a sort of sponsored pastime. So very, very good at it. And it's like my other brother who sort of fell into his niche very, very easily. We've all been kind of successful in our little areas. But what I really wanted to draw from that is if you really can find that thing where you got lost as a child, could be working on cars, could be pulling things to pieces, could be programming computers, it could be gardening, could be whatever. Often what you'll find is that your natural inclination or vocation is tied up in that in some form. Now, the other point that I wanted to sort of draw out in this is basically we're about to go through a time of a lot of change. A lot of people's lives are going to be ruptured. They're going to be disjointed because of certain traumas. It could be divorce, could be the loss of a loved one, could be losing a job. These are opportunities where you can reinvent yourself. So don't frown upon those particular circumstances, because those circumstances will afford you some great opportunities. When you're already in a profession and doing really well, it's very hard to chop and change. But when you're in a position where you don't have a job and you're in a bit of a different situation, or you've moved cities or whatever, you can actually change. It's very easy to change and you can have some continuity. But just keep in mind that you want to look back at the previous seasons of your life and you want to try and build upon the successes or the platforms or foundations that you have already laid, rather than chopping and changing and going from X to Y to W to Z and then back to X and on to A, and then there's no continuity. And what you find is you lose momentum in life. And not only that, but you've got to start at the bottom of the run. You've got to learn all those new skills. You lose momentum, and because of that, you're also losing income. So whereas what you find is if you're building from one season to the next, you're building upon the previous successes, you're building momentum and you're building income and wealth and earning potential. So keep that in mind when you're looking at making a change and reinventing yourself. I mean, you could go and say, right, and I know this because I have met people who have utilized the services of people who have, their whole job is to reinvent people, whether it be movie stars, whether it be singers, whether it be CEOs. What these people do is they say, right, we're going to completely reinvent you. We're going to change your haircut. We're going to change your hair color. We're going to change what facial hair you have. We're going to change the types of clothes that you wear. We're going to change where you socialize and what activities you do. They do a complete comprehensive change of people. So that's basically reinventing that person's persona. You know, for example, Madonna's done that multiple times in her career, and it keeps them fresh, it keeps them relevant, and you can do that too. But what I am saying is, if you're going to be, you know, it's like someone contacted me the other day and said, look, I'd love to have an online business. What do you recommend? And, you know, their background is a blue collar job. And, you know, I think this person's thinking, I can't do anything online and whatever. There are so many opportunities for people to take practical skills like carpentry or, you know, electrical work or, you know, cooking, being a chef, or whatever. Do you just think about all those different things that you've learned over the years, little tricks of the trade that you can record and put on video. You can upload those skills onto social media. You can find brands that are aligned with your particular niche, your particular skill. Like he might find somebody who sells hammers, a hammer manufacturer or a saw manufacturer, or could be, you know, Makita drills, or it could be Milwaukee power tools. And then he could potentially build an affiliate or a representative type relationship with that particular brand. So there's so many opportunities, and you don't have to completely lose everything in order to recreate yourself or to create new opportunities. Now, take note of what I've just said. He could actually go online and start online businesses, but he's building upon the previous skill set and foundation that he's already laid in his life. So he's talking about, carpentry work and why this is the best hammer. And I know this is the best hammer for this particular reason. What are the features and what's the benefits? Why do you want to have that particular hammer or that particular drill? Or how do you make a window frame? Or how do you, how do you lay a foundation and concrete work? What sort of tools do you need? How much is it going to cost? There's so many different areas of knowledge and skills and resources that are available that he could sell or create. He could create a course on, how to cut a timber frame, or how to build a cubby house, or how to build a go-kart as a carpenter, the professional way to build a child's, go-kart. So many different opportunities. But my point is that you're building upon the success of previous seasons. As I said, so let me recap this in brief. The tree of the trunk is your early stages in life. You want to look back at what your previous passions and skills and areas of your life as a child when you used to just lose track of time. And then look at those skills and how they reflect on what you're doing currently, if at all. And then if you are at a point where you are wanting to or needing to reinvent yourself or look at a different profession, then take that into consideration and then try and build upon those previous foundations that you've already laid in life. And that's what I find the mistakes with a lot of people. They chop and change and they go from X to Y and to Z, and as I said, and it's just not good. They lose momentum, they lose income, and they lose opportunity. So life is short. You want to capitalize on who you are, but you also want to enjoy life. And as I said, life often will present situations where you will find that your normal domestic or professional life is ruptured or dislocated, and you can reinvent yourself in those particular situations. So keep that in mind. Anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I wish you all the very best in the future, no matter what it is that you do. If you are thinking about starting an online business and you want some pointers, or you need a hand to develop a website or social media platforms or whatever, more than happy to point you in the right direction. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Thanks for watching, and we'll chat with you soon.